and we're going to be talking about how they are leveraging their very influential platforms to scale and launch really powerful businesses. We'll get started in just a sec, a lot to cover in a very short amount of time, but I want to first start off by having them each introduce themselves. We'll start with you, Amber.
I'm Amber Fillerup. I'm the founder of Day Hair, based in Arizona, and I'm also full-time influencer, full-time mom, so hey.
Hi everybody, I'm Nina Parker. I am a television host, an Emmy-nominated television host. I have several shows with E! And also Netflix. I'm also the creator of Nina Parker Collection, which is now found at Macy's. It is a plus-size collection for women sizes 12 to 30.
Hello, I'm Hernan. I am the founder of Emily & Co., a plant-based food manufacturing company, and I'm also on the show Selling Sunset on Netflix.
Hi, I'm Denise, Vasi. I'm the founder of Maed, which is an online community and an editorial website that focuses on clean beauty and self-care. And spoiler alert, Maed Beauty is coming in 2023.
Can you guys hear me? It's a little loud. Can you hear fine? My name is Sofer, founder first and foremost of Spritz Society, the now best cocktail of 2022 by USA Today. Originally, I founded Boy With No Job, an Instagram account, and have used mine and my family's communities to build this alcohol.
And if any point, Ben brought up a really great point. If you came here, come closer. We want us to definitely get all this valuable information in these gem drops. So come on up. You can stand, whatever you need to do here. We'll get started. So I want to start off by asking each of you, launching your brand, it's been said time and time again, brands that are successful are ones that are launched out of a need. And each of you, as influencers, have identified that need in your respective industries. So I'm going to go down the line and ask you, what need did you identify? And what problem are you aiming to solve with your evolving business? Amber, I'll start with you.
So I started my platform almost 13 years ago and started as a hairstylist, doing hair tutorials and all these different things. Today's was Brianne from House of Dragon, if you guys have been watching it. So got my start in hair and had talked to my following about hair for so long that I felt like I had so many insights into like what prices they responded best to, what types of products, and what they felt like was missing. So I kind of had all that and just like this natural passion for hair that I saw this massive white space in the clean hair care side where I really wanted to show people that you can have clean hair care that's also effective, that smells amazing, and just is like really exciting to use and feels like that full package. So that's what we do. We do clean hair care, and we're at Sephora. And yeah, we're 2 years old now, so it's crazy.
To answer the question, for me, I always tend to look at what I like, what I enjoy, and the lack of representation in those areas, because as a Black woman, there are often spaces where I don't see myself represented. As a plus woman, there are often spaces that I don't see myself represented. And I think the first inkling is to feel a sense of anger when you don't see yourself included. And I feel that too. And then after that, I decide, like, what can I possibly do to contribute to the solution of this problem? And so I try to do that in every area of my career, whether it's been in television, whether it's been relating to my audience and letting them know I'm having a bad day or a bad mental health day. And with fashion, it was something that I never felt embraced in, and never felt something that catered to me or women that looked like me. So I decided that I was going to try to do something that could help other people. It wasn't initially something that I ever expected to be in a major retailer. But it was able to translate to that to people who understood that there was a necessity for it. And so when it hit the shelves and it did so well, I think that that also helps to the next person and open the door for them. So for me, seeing what there was a lack of and trying to provide a solution really resonated with my audience. And that's something that I continue to do in everything, how I learn how I can expand.
So for me, I've been in the food industry my entire life. So when I started the company, I knew that I wanted to create something different, and I was a vegetarian for 12 years, and it was really hard for me to find items that I could try. I tried to become vegan, and it was almost impossible. Everything tasted like cardboard. So I said, why don't I create my own company? And that's how I found
like most great brands, Maed really comes from your own personal exploration of what was missing. And to kind of piggyback to what Nina was saying, about 10 years ago when my personal health and wellness journey shifted, I found myself researching online and looking for answers, and I didn't see women who looked like me. And I felt like everything was either crunchy, granola-ish, or super, super high, elevated, elegant, very expensive, what felt unattainable and not really accessible to me. And when I founded Maed, my goal was to create this platform for women, to be inclusive, so it didn't feel exclusionary, and for women to feel like they can come and get their best recommendations that are researched, clean, incredible products, and especially Black and brown women, because when you look at ingredient lists at the products that are marketed towards us, they are some of the worst ingredients there. So I really wanted a platform to be a place where women could come, feel confident in the purchases that they were making when they did that, or ignite conversation for them looking for clean and conscious products. And as we move into the product space, I'm really trying to marry the multifaceted woman, because I think that products very much try to put women in boxes, which I am so against. I think that every morning we wake up and we want to be somebody different. We dress a certain way depending on where we're going and how we feel, and so I want women to feel like they can come to our products and feel like they are represented no matter which version of themselves they want to be today.
So Boy With No Job and Girl With No Job were born out of authenticity. The reason that we have followings at all is because we speak our minds, and people like that. It was never about following trends. It was always just, what do I like, and attracting a community that also likes those things. And so when figuring out what white space there was, the only thing that we thought of doing was going to our community and asking them, what are you looking for? Ultimately, the RTD space, the ready-to-drink alcohol space, is crowded. Everyone will tell you that it's crowded. There's no white space. There are enough hard seltzer brands. There are enough vodka-based brands, wine-based brands. And ultimately, the only way that we could understand truly and authentically launching an RTD brand was going to the community and asking them what they wanted. So I put together a Google form asking my audience their opinions on logos, flavors, can designs, alcohol percentage, alcohol base, about 2 years ago, and direct message that to almost 10,000 followers on Instagram. So if anybody knows a bot where you can hand direct messages, that would be very helpful to see my thumbs to work next time. But we called that research and development group the Spritz Society. So the name of the brand, Spritz Society, pays homage to the group that helped us build this and truly find white space, and that paid dividends. We launched direct to consumer over a year ago, did a 6-figure plus first week, and it's all because the community asked for this product. I wasn't giving them something that they didn't want. I didn't launch another celebrity tequila brand. There's enough Casamigos and Don Julio in 1942 for all of us, so might as well launch something that's authentic and unique. And as we scale into retail, it's continuing to pay dividends that this community helped build it, so they're also going to go buy and tell their friends and support.
Yeah, I love the idea. I love the fact that you brought up the, important aspect of polling your community. We'll get into that later and using social media as a really important tool for that. But I want to get reflective and talk about, you all had pre-existing brands. Before you launched, pre-existing very influential platforms before you launched your brands. Let's get honest about that. What was the value in already having this platform before launching your business? Denise, we'll start with you.
Well, for me personally, I don't think that I would have been able to go out and launch anything if it wasn't for the community that I had online. They are my biggest cheerleaders. They've held me down during my self-doubting moments. And obviously, they are our first and foremost customer of anything. I know that if I listen to, similar to what you were saying, if I listen to what they want and I give them what they want, they're going to show up for me as well. They are invested in not only our lives day to day, but in the products that we put out. And so, every entrepreneur today is a social media influencer in a way. Everyone, unfortunately or fortunately, has to create content these days. So starting with a community beforehand really is a big advantage. We're all blessed to have that.
Oh yeah. This is a reflective moment. Emma, we'll throw it to you. Talk about how the importance of your brand pre-starting your business and how you leverage that.
Yeah, so I think, starting my company, I started it actually before I joined Selling Sunset, and, I had a large platform at that time, and it was, super beneficial having the feedback from different people, and I did everything. So I did the Instagram, I did everything, and I would do polls, and I would see what is everyone missing? What do you want? Is there a new flavor? Is there something, is there a dietary restriction that you can't have that maybe I can go and fill? And I think having that platform and having so much feedback from different people made such a big difference because I knew what was missing and it helped me create something that was now filling a void. And I think if I didn't have that platform, it would be a little bit harder. So it definitely helped scale. And then of course, joining Selling Sunset and the show being so big, everyone was going to Costco trying to find it and take a picture with it. So it really put the messaging out there. So I think the platform really helped grow and scale to another level.
Yeah, Nina, we'll throw it to you. You and I have had conversations before about how being in the journalism and entertainment industry, you have a network of resources, a built-in community, and a slew of fans who are watching you on TV. How did you leverage that to start the Nina Parker collection?
I didn't try to change who I was. I think a lot of times there's this pressure to perform on social media, and if something doesn't perform or a post doesn't perform, you feel like you need to change your messaging or change something about you. So I was okay with okay, this post didn't do that well or something didn't work. I just tried to stay consistent because I felt like when I was the most authentic is the most that people responded to. I wasn't quite sure if people who enjoyed me on TV would buy my collection. I wasn't sure about that. And what you find is you attract new people too. So you kind of start to mesh your world a little bit where there are people who loved you on TV and there are people who just found your line and didn't know you had a show. And I think what's the most important part, and that what I hear everybody saying, is that they listen to people. Often you will hear brands or you may support a brand and feel like they're not necessarily listening to you. And I think feedback is really important to me. I read my comments, I read, comment and feedback for my website and for women who buy clothes and how they feel about them, how they feel in them. That's really important. Of course, you're always going to get people who are just completely critical, but there are also people who really enjoy you and support you who may not necessarily agree with everything, and it's important to listen to those too. So feedback's really important, and just that really helps with the authenticity.
Amber, I'm going to throw it over to you because you've opened up about challenges and having to re-educate your community and understanding that you're multifaceted. You have a varied amount of skills, and you're doing a lot. So walk me through challenging in part, but also an opportunity to allow your community to understand that you are an evolving professional. How have you managed to do that?
Yeah, I think it's so funny because I was at this event and someone came up to me and they're like, "Oh wait, you actually do all this? I thought your husband did it and you just jumped in." And no, I'm the one doing all this. So I think it's been more challenging for people to understand I'm the one doing this. I didn't just slap my name on something or do some quick deal. I built this from the ground up. So I think that's been the biggest thing is trying to get people to understand this is me, I'm building this. Because it is different with influencers. There is a stigma that influencers just put their name on a good deal that comes to them. So I think that was a challenge. But other than that, it's honestly been so amazing to have the pre-existing following, obviously. And I've tried to really make it special for them. I really wanted to leave little Easter eggs in the line, things that they would be "Oh, Dolly, of course she did a citrus scent. She juices oranges every morning," and just little things that they would be "Oh yeah, that totally makes sense," and feel they're kind of a part of it. So that's been really amazing, and yeah, other than that, I think it's only been really, really great to have that community, and everyone was saying, I loved what you were saying about about authenticity because truly, like, the way we built our followings was from authenticity, and building a solid customer base isn't far off. Like, you just need to replicate what we're doing as influencers, but for customers, like, give them a good product to talk about and give them valuable information and engage with them and have a personality that they can, like, attach to your brand. And all of that is really, like, the same. So I think that experience was really valuable.
Yeah. Ben, I want to throw it over to you and pose the same question. How have you needed to re-educate your audience when it comes to understanding that, with launching the Spritz Society, you're an evolving entrepreneur, you're an evolving influencer. How does that process work? With saying, okay, this is me, this is my brand, and it's very multifaceted.
So first, it's acknowledging that you're building a new community. You're using your previously existing community as new eyeballs. Again, I went to them, I asked them, what are you looking for? But I only went to a small subset. So of the 10,000 people that I spoke to, there's still 1.5 million people that I didn't speak to. So they're going to see a ton of content related to Spritz Society that they probably didn't ask for. And I don't need all 1.5 million people like me, right? I just need a strong enough base and a strong enough community to start to give me the data that lets me know that, all right, they loved me when I was building a job, they loved my wife when she was building a girl doing a job, we're doing toast, and ultimately we can lean into some of the tactics that we took to build that community, which all really just, the bottom line is authenticity. Speaking our minds, never really giving, I don't know if you first, but never really giving a shit about what anybody had to say or thought. It's, if you like us, you like us. If you don't like us, you can follow somebody else. There are plenty of people on Instagram. So in the same way, it was going to this audience, understanding that we're trying to build a new community, and putting as much effort as humanly possible into community building Spritz Society as I did originally building More Than a Job, and knowing that there are different ways to communicate.
I'm going to say on you, Ben, because you brought up a great point, which was the power of social media. So I want to ask each of you, identify one benefit of social media, one really successful instance where you've leveraged your social platform and it's yielded tangible results for your business. And then one way in which there's room for improvement on the social media front. So answer those two things for me.
So in the infancy of this brand, we've leveraged our socials to sell meet and greets into major retailers. So started with Total Wine, then went to Bevmo, is soon going to Publix, is soon going to Costco. And what we'll do is, my wife and I will go into Total Wine, we'll do $20,000 in sales to register that day by meeting our community. And the power of social has led us not only to the introductions to retailers, but to impress the management layers of these organizations to give us a shot across the 6 Total Wines in Massachusetts or the 146 Bevmos in California. It starts with one, showing the power of your community, driving your community to their store, and letting these retailers know that you're here to support not only your own brand, but all of the brands that are in their store, right? Because if I drive 500 people to Total Wine today, believe me, they're going to buy more than just Spritz Society. They're also going to buy everything else in the store. So I think that the real power is being able to leverage our community to impress. Right now, we need to impress retailers and we need to impress distributors. So to be able to go to Target, that's amazing. To be able to go to Target and say, look, we're going to drive consumers into your store. This is what they already want to see. And we're going to directly contribute to your bottom line that day. A huge benefit, and social media is the only reason we've been able to do that. Something that I could be doing better personally is not neglecting the old content that I used to post. Spritz Society has 1,000% taken over my life, as it should. I'm on this business 250%, and ultimately I make less memes. I don't think I'm less funny, but I make less videos, and I need to do a far better job of diversifying my content from just Spritz Society to the reason why Spritz Society even exists is because I built a job, and I need to find a way to get back to doing both, which is different.
Love that. Thank you for that honesty. Denise, we'll throw it to you. One really powerful way you've leveraged social media, and one way you can improve. Or the platform can improve, or it's whatever you think, however you want to interpret that.
I mean, in terms of the platform and leveraging social media, there's that, you know, that saying, if you build it, they will come. That's not necessarily true. You could build it and they maybe don't come. And that's the sad reality of, and the risk you take, the exciting and the sad reality of being an entrepreneur. When I launched the platform, I remember clicking like live, like go online, and I was in my bathroom, like so scared because I couldn't be around anybody. Like everyone was like, are you gonna do it? April was calling me, my husband's like, what's going on? I was like, I'm so nervous, what if nobody shows up? But of course, my social media community showed up because I listened, this is what they wanted, and I took a long time going to them, and again, going back to what you were saying, that's a big thing that you leverage, right? Going to them, asking questions, figuring out what they want, they're helping us find the void, and then building it for them, and then they came. So that was first and foremost. And in terms of product, as we move into that space, frankly, I have been able to get some of the best people on my development team. I am at the best manufacturers because purely based on my social media numbers. We are working with some of the best people to develop some of the best clean products because of who I am on social media. They would never really consider a brand new D2C brand that is a startup with that I'm self-funding, so with no investors backing it. So that's definitely how I'm leveraging my social media. And in terms of how I can be better, I'm just gonna piggyback what you said because it's so hard to be there in every place. And I think why we're all great entrepreneurs, we pull from our experience as social media influencers, tastemakers, because we have to kind of almost do everything on our own, as Amber was saying, right? So as an entrepreneur, in the beginning, you're doing so much by yourself as well. And as I get into product development, I'm in meeting after meeting after testings. It's hard to also show up on social in those days and create and have my regular content. I'm still doing it, thankfully, but it's hard to balance the consistency of it. And social media is really about being consistent. So whether you have a small community or no community, if you show up every day consistently, you will grow. And that's something I think is really important that everybody knows here. If you don't have this massive community, because I didn't when I started, and you didn't when you started, right? If you show up every day, you will grow. And if you get on camera and show your face, you will grow. And you will also get better at it. Because in the beginning, everybody sucks at it. It's hard to talk to yourself on social media. But if you do it every day, you will grow.
Now we're next to you, Emma.
So I think, having the social media, it became, back in the day, I've been in the food industry my whole life, and back in the day, my mom and my aunt, they would have to drive to go meet with the brokers and to get into potentially a Costco or to get in anywhere. But now, we're a message away, and I think that we're so fortunate to be able to send a message to Whole Foods, send a message to whoever it is, and you're direct access to things that we weren't able to do, 10, 15 years ago. So for me, having that huge social media following and having that blue check mark, which does make a difference when you're verified and someone's, you're messaging a company or a person to help and endorse the company, that's made a huge difference for me. And, getting into stores. I'm a 100% female-owned company. I've done everything on my own, from marketing to, asking for favors, because from not only am I creating every single recipe down to the spice, but I'm also, trying to market it myself and running the Instagram and really doing everything that I don't think, people realize what goes into it. And having social media has taken the brand from a small little company to now I am in stores across the United States. I'm in Costco, which is one of the largest retailers, and things that have made a really big difference to me. And something that I think, obviously, that I can work on, kind of piggybacking off you guys, but it's hard to manage social media and to manage your personal social media and your company. And I think as an entrepreneur, being able to delegate is something that we all need to do, and I can do a better job at that because it is so hard. it's really hard. Exactly, and I think for me, that's something, I'm such a perfectionist, and having someone else do it, but it is really important as any founder, as any CEO, you have to be able to delegate so that your company can grow to the next level.
I love it. I love the relatability here. Nina, throwing over to you. One effective way you've leveraged social media and one way things can improve.
For me, I think social media gives you access that there never really existed before. If you watch a movie, you were never able to DM like the actor in the movie, and maybe they'll read it, maybe they won't. Like, there's very rarely been a time when you have access. I tweeted The Rock last week. I did not think he would respond, and he did, and it made like headlines. Yes! It was very random, and it was just like, but it's like, you can talk to the people you enjoy, and that's from someone like him with 20 million followers, but also the person who is a CEO with maybe only 20,000. Something that's really important, a lot of times people follow corporations, like you'll follow CNN maybe for news, but something that I've always found that's been very helpful is to follow the people who make the brand. Are you following the producers? Are you following the writers? Are you following the production assistants? That's going to give you access within this organization more than it would if you were following maybe the CNN page with 2 million followers. And I started to leverage that into communicating with people that I enjoyed. So I would meet other producers and hosts and fashion designers and created my own community of people on Twitter and Instagram and started communicating with them. And with those relationships, I was able to leverage those into appearances, some television contracts, hosting opportunities. I mean, you and I were talking, we met through me promoting my line, and you were like, hey, there's a speaking engagement. So there's always these opportunities to network on social media where before you had to go to the event and meet people, and now you can utilize your social media in a smart way to really network and truly be about that. And social media is like anything in life. If you don't want to network and meet people and make things happen, you don't have to. You can post, going to the movies and making a turkey sandwich, and it can just be that. Or you can utilize this as a side business. Remember what you're posting, and remember that everybody who's watching and looking at you, potential investors, potential customers, are watching you, and use that as an opportunity, and also open your mind and open your mouth and ask people, because I think if we're talking about a downside of social media, it's sensory overload. And I think it's very easy to get distracted. You're on social media and you're there for a purpose, and the next thing you know, you're looking at beaches and sunset and trying to find a trending audio, and you don't know what's going on. And then you're like, this is not what I came here for, and now it's 4 a.m. and I'm looking at stuff and trying to buy a house in Villa. So I think it's important to stay focused. It's important to not be overloaded, and agree that, delegation, I think being a leader is being a great listener to your audience and to the people who work for you, and allowing people to help you. We can't get anything without help. So if you think you're gonna do it all on your own, you're already failing. You have to get help, even if it's in the smallest way. It's necessary to succeed, because even if you do it on your own and you succeed for many years, ultimately you're gonna break.
And just getting feedback that way has been really not only fun, and like I can connect to them through product development, but it's also just been really useful for us. So I loved that, and something that I would like to improve on is what you said, Ben, is like getting back to what I started with, which was hair tutorials. And I feel like I don't do enough of like the things I love, which is hair tutorials, and I need to like find time to do that again. So that's something I would love to like improve.
Love that. All right, we have a minute left, so I want to do a quick fast round and stress the importance of self-care. In the age of burnout, you guys are doing a million different things. So in, very quick sentence, what's one way you navigate burnout, manage, and prioritize your self-care? One quick tip.
So I have to look at everything like buckets. So like Monday I take calls, Tuesday is a creative day, Wednesday I take meetings for like one specific category, and I have to like bucket everything out. So when I'm being creative, I can just like let that flow and not have to worry about like, oh, I have a call at 1 o'clock, or I can just like fully dive into the creativity. So bucketing things out has been like game changer.
Amazing. Nina, navigating burnout and prioritizing self-care.
This has to be rapid, but I'm still learning how to do that. So what I've decided to do to navigate burnout is do 1 one thing a day I really want to do. That could be making popcorn. You know, this could be the most minor thing, but I try to do one thing a day that I just want to do. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. It's not trying to please anybody. It's not for my business. One thing a day that makes me happy, whether it's painting my nails, taking a bubble bath, 5 minutes by myself, reading a book, but I try to make it a goal because not every day it happens, right? But I try to make it a goal to do one thing for myself a day to keep myself safe.
Love that. Emma?
Okay, so I should probably listen for this advice because I'm doing a really bad job this week, and I'm telling you it makes a difference. So I definitely try to do 1 to 2 things a day, whether it's taking a walk with my dog or writing down in my notebook. And if I don't do it, which I've been so slammed with filming and trying to come up with new recipes, that I haven't been able to this week, and it makes a big difference. And I think as an entrepreneur and a CEO, when you take the time for yourself, everything else goes. You're more creative. And I always recommend too, this is a really important thing, but going to a new space. So even going to a new coffee shop, it will inspire you, and that's something that I think is really cool and really important.
Amazing.
Personally, I just love what everyone's saying because I'm such an advocate for self-care. I start at the top of my day and I look at my day and I decide where I'm going to have that. And self-care looks different in my book every day. I believe that for each of us. And I decide, okay, is it going to be 9 o'clock at night after the kids go to bed, or is it going to be, after that call at 1 o'clock, I'm going to step away and do something for myself. But I schedule it in mentally, and if that doesn't work for you, schedule it in your calendar, just like you schedule your meetings or you're sitting down with your kids' teacher.
Last but not least, Ben?
I've accepted that I'm climbing a mountain for the next 5 years and I'm going to be burnt out. It just is what it is. Eventually I will, all of these are great tips, I'll find time for self-care, but while I'm building and grinding, I'm going to be burnt out. And it's a great thing that I absolutely love this business because I don't mind being burnt out. It means that the business is growing. It means that we're onboarding new states. We're bringing on new employees. There's always something new to do. But ultimately, I'm going to be burnt out. And I really am okay with it. And if I reach a point where I'm not, then I'll reassess. But for right now, the last 2 years, my entire life is this business. And I love this business and where it's headed.
It'll catch up with you, so.
I was gonna
Take a break.
You better take
When
a
you
nap.
need to take a break, go on
At least for water.
Go on social, tell your people I will be back in 24 to 48 hours. They will be there when you get back. If you have showed up consistently before that, take a break.
Sleep and water.
And also delegating and going back to what you were saying, like really rely on the people on your team. If you know that you've hired well and you trust them, then you know that you can also take a break with your team and say, hey, I need to check out and I need you to handle this, and trust that they will.
It's like anything else. If you take care of yourself, everything else will be able to fully function. And if you don't, everything will fall to it.
Yes, I hear that. I hope you heard it too. Well, that was a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much. The room is ripe with inspiration. I'm inspired, and our audience is too. And yeah, honored to be up here. Thank you guys so much, and thank you all.